All right, hey, greetings, my friends. Let's have a Bible study. We're in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 4. We made it all the way through chapter 3. Just some excellent stuff, and I really enjoyed that chapter so very, very much. But this is episode 9, and we'll be in chapter 4. The first 9 verses basically is what we're going to be covering, and then we'll do some more. The next episode, we'll get a little further into the chapter, but there's just so much rich stuff here that we want to get into it. So as we start all our Bible studies, we need to read the Bible. So we'll have a moment of silence here in just a second while you're turning to the book of Nehemiah, and we want you to read chapter 4. Go ahead and read the whole chapter so you get the kind of the whole context. We're going to focus the questions, though, really on about the first 8 or 9 verses. So let's take a moment and read the Bible. All right. Hey, I hope you enjoyed reading through that. This chapter kind of starts to get into some of the meat of the things that have been accomplished there, and really like it a lot. We've got some questions here that I want to go through and spend a little bit of time with you kind of dealing with these. So take some time and have some discussion amongst yourself. If you're doing this with a spouse or a friend, just stop the thing and then kind of go through the questions, trying to come up with some answers there. And then at the end, we'll have some prayer time, as we always do. But here's kind of the first one. We have 4 questions, and here's the first one. So as the wall neared completion, the enemies of Nehemiah began to mock him and the workers. What did they specifically say about the project? That's the first one. Just like, and there's really kind of boom, 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 boom. They kind of had several things that they kind of just dumped right out there in those first 2 or 3 verses. So this would be chapter 4, 1, 2, and 3 right through there. I'll read that. So what are some of the specific things that they said about the project? And what are some things that are, now here's the kind of the deeper question here. What are some things that are listed in the Bible that can help us when we are attacked or our position is despised? Okay, so there are many, many things in the Bible that help us when we go through something like Nehemiah and his workers went through. So try to come up with a variety of different things there that you would do, or that the Bible talks about, that when we are despised or attacked, that the Bible recommends that we can do those things. So let's take a moment and dive into that one. All right. Hope you came up with a good list there, and then practicing some of those things is good. Nehemiah obviously had one that really clicked, and I'm sure you found this one here. It's just in the next verse there. He when the trash talking began, what did Nehemiah start to do? Okay, that's kind of the first question, and you probably already found that. Okay, he started to pray. But I'd like you to do this. I'd like you to kind of dive into this prayer a little bit. This is not a kind of lay me down to sleep, bless our food kind of a prayer here. This is a little bit different. So here is the question, or what I want you to discuss is in your group, describe the elements of Nehemiah's prayer. Okay, so kind of describe all the different things. And then the question is, what sticks out to you about this type of praying? And this is definitely a little bit different, but what kind of sticks out to you about this? So describe the elements that were there and talk about the ones that sort of are the most pointed one that sticks out to you. All right, nice. Hope you got some good things out of that one. Verse 6, chapter 4, is probably boom, the sort of one of those crescendo verses where it's sort of like starting to come together. I believe it says in the book of Proverbs, desire accomplished is sweet to the soul. Just a great verse here of some positive things that have happened. And let me just give you a couple questions that I sort of came up with here. I wrote this down. The project was coming together. We kind of know that. So how important to the physical building of the wall was the mental health of the builders? Okay, that's sort of in other words, they're doing a lot of physical stuff, obviously, all those goldsmiths and the daughters and the Tekoites and all those people in chapter 3, they're physically building a wall and gates and bars and locks and all that kind of stuff. But how important is the mental health of the builders, or to kind of rephrase that, how important to the physical labor is having the right mindset? How important to the physical labor is having this thing taken care of up here? And then, of course, the question that sort of follows with that is like, how do we get there? Okay, how do we get the right mindset? So dive into that one. Okay, good. We're chapter 4 and question 4 already. This one really kind of is in verse 7, 8, and 9. Sort of puts it all together here. The trash talking that was kind of in the early part of the chapter has now evolved into physical fighting. Okay, the word fighting is used there. The enemies were determined to fight and to get this thing stopped. So here's a couple questions I have for you. What are some of the various responses that Christians have had towards fighting and towards war over the years, over the centuries, over the millennia? What are some of the different approaches to that? And there are several, so try to list some of those things there. And then just a real simple thing here is, what was Nehemiah's response? What did he do? He had a couple very specific things that he did. And actually, as we go into the rest of the chapter, we're going to learn more about some of that. But what did he respond? How did he respond to that? So let's dive into that one. All right. Hey, we've made it through all 4 questions. I hope that this was a good chapter to you. The rest of the chapter, we're going to do it in a couple more chunks. There's, again, very rich, but there's some great time here for prayer. And when we are trash talked, when we are hurt or some of that, we need strength and we need to pray. As Nehemiah did, he just kind of popped that prayer off, and that's kind of what these are, these short little prayers that kind of come up. So we'd like for you to take some time in prayer and just say, Lord, give me strength when I've been assaulted. Give me strength when I have been attacked. Give me strength. And so maybe you just kind of go around and every person say, Lord God, give me strength. Maybe that would be the way that you'd want to pray tonight. But let's take a moment and pray, and then we will see you at our next episode. Thanks for being at episode 9, and we'll get you in episode 10. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.